Willie D Live.
What's up, family? On Sunday, Charles Barkley had a whole lot to say about immigration. Here's an article in HuffPost regarding Charles's comments. Charles Barkley goes off script in March Madness to call out Trump disgrace. Charles Barkley had more than basketball on his mind during CBS's March Madness broadcast on Sunday. The analysts pivoted to President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown after a feature on University of Connecticut star Alex Caravan, whose parents immigrated to the U.S. from Eastern Europe. I want to be very careful with my words right now because this is a really touchy subject for me. I love that kid and his family, but the way some of these immigrants are getting treated in our country right now is a travesty and a disgrace. I think there's a difference between amazing immigrants and criminal immigrants. And I think what's going on in our country, what we're doing to some of these amazing immigrants, is really unfortunate and it's really sad. He continued, and that's a great immigrant story. We have a lot of great immigrant stories out there whose stories need to be told. But some of the stuff that's happening to immigrants in our country right now is really unfortunate and it's really unfair. But immigrants built this country and we should admire them and respect them. Stop right there. Immigrants built this country and we should admire them and respect them. And then this dude, Nate Burleson, who appeared next to him, across from him, said, "Chuck, I love you, bro." Another black guy. Okay, hey, what you want me to start? Where you want me to start, fam? Let's just start with the truth. Okay, so when Charles Barkley say that immigrants built this country, he's speaking from a modern sense, right? It's a broad, modern sense. But let me be specific. The foundation of the United States was built on the forced labor of Black people, nobody else. It was built on the forced labor of enslaved Black people. Nobody else can remotely make that claim. That is historical context. That's number one. Let me tell you something, fam. From the 1600s all the way through the Civil War, enslaved Africans built America, built up America's massive wealth through cotton, rice, tobacco, sugar. Black folks did that. That wealth didn't just benefit slave owners. It benefited banks. It benefited the travel industry, which was still in its infant stages. It benefited the shipping industries. And guess what? Northern businesses also benefited. Eastern businesses benefited. Western businesses benefited. The entire United States of America benefited from slavery. Congressmen and women benefited. Presidents benefited from slavery. So you can talk about how these other groups came later from the 19th century to the 20th century and how they added from there, how they did make contributions. That part is true. They did make contributions, But to say that immigrants built this country and leave it at that point, like immigrants built this country, period. Man, you better get your funk ass up there. Man, you better get up out of here with that. That's not an insult. That's not just disrespectful. You know, it's extremely degrading to the ancestors to try to give somebody else that credit or put somebody else on that equal level. There ain't no comparison. I don't give a damn who built it, who built what afterwards. This country was built on the backs of slave people. I'm talking about America's economic engine. America's economic engine was created by Black folks. It's indisputable. Ain't nothing you can say about it. You can run your mouth all you want to. You can get mad at me all you want to. You cannot deny the facts. The facts are the facts. Yes, you give the immigrants credit for what they've done. But don't you ever fix your damn mouth to talk about immigrants built this country. Immigrants continue to build this country. They built what was already the foundation that was created by Black people, enslaved Black people by forced labor. It wasn't just forced labor. That's the cold part. It was murder. It was mass murder by the millions. It was SA, little girls, boys, women, and men got SA'd. Boys, men, women, and girls were sold. Mama sold, daddy sold, grandparents sold. If they didn't like something that you did to get you back, they just sell your child. Send your child to another plantation far away from you, and you had no idea where they were. Oftentimes, we're talking about most of the times. You didn't even know where your child was. You didn't even know what plantation they were on. You didn't know what state they were in. You didn't know if they were dead or alive. They made our people work from can't see day to can't see night. I'm talking about before the crack of dawn till after sunset. They threw Black people overboard on ships so that they could claim them on their insurance. If a Black person was enslaved and was on that ship and died on the ship, just died, they couldn't get no money off of them. So they would throw them overboard and claim lost cargo. Now they could insure lost cargo. Come on, fam. Come on. Look, man, it wasn't just regular, just forced labor. It was the extent of the brutality. It was the extent of the dehumanization. This is why can't nobody tell me nothing about no slavery and how anybody else came and did nothing here, including white people. And ain't nobody put in the work that Black people put in this country. Nobody. It ain't even close. We're talking about over 250 years of forced labor that included brutality, murder, mutilization, SA, lynchings, chopping off arms, legs, hands, making Black people eat feces, stomping babies out of stomachs, feeding babies to alligators, putting them in zoos and throwing baseballs at them. Man, y'all get up, man, say, man, y'all run me hot with that, man. You can get on up out of here with that. Barkley's statements reflects the contributions of Europeans, Asians, and Latin American immigrants who did help build railroads, cities, and industries in the 19th and 20th centuries. So that part is correct, but that ain't what he said. He just said, well, immigrants built this country and we need to respect them, as if nobody else did nothing else, as if there was no other contributions. The difference here is choice versus coercion. The difference here is the foundation versus the structure. See, the thing about the foundation is a solid foundation could last for centuries. A structure could fall down. A structure, no matter how solid, could eventually fall down. It could eventually collapse. But a solid foundation could last for centuries. Immigrants, even when exploited, came by choice. They came here by choice. Even when exploited, enslaved Black people were kidnapped, trafficked, forced to work for no pay, no rights, no freedom. Then we turned around and fought their wars. Then we turned around, came back here, and were still dehumanized, prevented from home ownership, land ownership. Even when we worked from nothing, started from nothing, and got it, it was oftentimes stolen from us. They would oftentimes murder Black people, scam off the land. Once you murder one, the rest of them go. And then they come in and take over and chop up the profits, divvy up the land. This is the reality that they don't want our children to know about. They don't even want their children to know about it, because that right there tells you that they know how barbaric it was. And they have some sense of guilt about it, because otherwise they'd want to celebrate it. They'd celebrate it all, not some of it. They celebrate it all. But they don't want to do that, because if they told the truth, then the truth is going to set people free. They don't even want their children knowing the truth, because some of their children might not go the way that they want them to go. They may decide, you know what? I'm done waving this banner. I'm about to be on something else. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Grandpa. Sorry, Grandma. But y'all on that bullshit. I'm out of here. That's what they fear the most. Well, in the fact that in their minds that Black people going to treat them like they treated, like we were treated. But that ain't even in our spirit. We don't have that. That's not a part of our DNA. You even see people out here, black people out here getting treated bad right now. And they be out there, but sir, but ma'am, and praying for their enemies and all this kind of shit. That ain't me. But there are some out there that behave like that. Barkley is tone deaf at the least. And at the worst, he's just a plain old dummy, in which I already said he was a plain old regular sellout dummy. So let's be clear about this. I'm not saying that immigrants did not contribute to building America. What I'm saying is that his statement ignores or minimizes the foundational role of slavery and the contributions of enslaved Black people. That's what I'm saying. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.